Nĩ ngatho makiria mwiroreri wa GTN TV ngehoka muthenya waku ni ugutwarithirie o wega umuthi ari ni tariki 6 mweri wa 12 mwaka ni wa 2023 ngehoka muthenya waku ni utidirie wega ni kahinda kega tukumenyithie uria bururi na nja wa bururi maundu matari ritwa riakwa ni Snaida Chege. Tukiambiriria mutongoria wa mung'ethaniro Raila Odinga nioritie gukorwo na kamiti iguthondekwo niguo kumburira ciegie kigeranio gia bururi gia KCPE kia mwaka uyu. Odinga augite kigeranio gitiari na wigiririki akiuga ni kiagomeirwo ni mathina maige hamwe na maria orotete ni gucenjio kwa uheani wa kandarathi wa gucabitha igeranio ici gukorwo ugicenjio ndagika-ini ya muthia na gucoka kuheo kuri kambuni ege akiuga ndekinyanirie ikero.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, this is a statement.
Domini yake na andiki a mohoro na mutongoria wa mug'ethaniro Raila Odinga augite mahitia maria mononekire kigeranio kia mwaka-ini uyu kia kirathi gia kanana gia KCPE na nginyagia hindi ya kurekererio kwamũmũrĩra ma kigeranio kiu augite magomeirwo ni mahitia kihirie.
We know how much efforts teachers put into ensuring they mold young people into successful products that they can be proud of. The education sector does not belong to the government of the day. Integrity of the education sector is for all Kenyans. Consequently, for the first time in our country, some children are in court seeking to establish their true grades, while the Education Ministry is admitting students to Form 1, including those still challenging the marks they were awarded.
Athitha bene kuga ati kigeranio giki gitiari na waragania akiuga ni kiha kuona arutwo amwe mamukagira grade cia mathomo matekire ona kana arutwo othe kirathi-ini kimwe magakorwo mari na mamurira mahanaine thiini wa kigeranio.
The route so the KCPE candidates get graded for subjects they never set for. It's so an entire class scores same grades in science in one school. The system deployed could not produce the plus and minus signs. What a shame. We can today disclose that the mess in KCPE started as a tender war pitting various senior officials in the Ministry of Education against each other before eventually being taken over by an official much higher up in government. The hunt for quick money has now taken the Kenya Kwanza entrepreneurs from petroleum products and edible oils to exams. It has messed up the 2023 KCPE and will likely find its way into KCSE, whose marking is currently underway in a tense and uncertain environment.
Ari mutongoria wa ODM akianira maria mabati gutabanio ari ni hamwe na uthuthuria wigi kigeranio kia KCPE a Kenya gukorwo makirwo ciigugiriki na umo wa kigeranio giki gitumi gia kandarathi ya kambuni ya Ngeretha ukorwo ikanjwo na hinahi na gucoka gucabithio kwa igeranio ici ukanjwo hinahi na gucoka kuneo kuri kambuni ingi.
We believe that as a country and for the sake of our children, you can do better than this greed beyond measure. 2, Kenyans must be told how the integrity of the exams was secured during the transfer from the UK to Mombasa Road and later to another printer in Asia. 3, it is the right of Kenyans to know the cost of termination of the contract with the UK firm. 4, Kenyans must be informed of how the Mombasa Road firm was identified and awarded the tender and if procurement laws were followed. 5, Kenyans must also be informed of how the firm to relay KCPE results was identified
Orotete thirikari nĩ kĩraugĩte atĩ kandarathi ya ũcabithia wa kĩgeranio gĩkĩ nĩ yarũgamirio oro rĩmwe, kuona kambuni ya Ngeretha ĩrĩa yarĩtabania ũcabithia ũyũ nĩ yagire kũheana mbeca cia.
The administration suddenly and abruptly stopped this contract just because the UK company refused to give kickbacks. The government was advised that the Mombasa Road-based company did not have the capacity to print the exams and also ensure its security and integrity, especially on such a short notice. Nobody would budge because there were kickbacks involved.
Ngiribotera ceceni ya GTN TV, Mutamburuko Thaaa Ithatu, Gitonga Wadiweri.
Tukithii na mbere umuthi kuringana na riboti kuri nyumba cia mohoro, waria wa thirikari Isaac Mwaura augite namba ya aria makuite no irathi na mbere kwambatira guku umuthi ikiandikithia namba ino ikinyirie andu 165 guku angi 107,843 na atatu magakorwo magithamirio makwao kuriga kurumirira muyuro uria uthiite na mbere bururini. Oho thirikari ni irerutaniria gutigirira ni akinyaniria moteithio ma irio, dawa, neti cia rwagi, dawa cia kurigiriria mirimu iria yumanaga na mai kuri aria mahutitio makiria ni muyuro uyu thengia wa barabara gukorwo igithukagio ni muyuro uyu.
Ama hapa mnaweza pita hapa.
Tukithii na mbere, Minister wa Kigina Njuguna Ndung'u auma mbere ya kamiti ya bunge ya gĩbũrũri ĩgiĩ kigina agĩtagĩrĩria nĩkĩ gĩtũmi thirikari ĩtarekereirie kigina kia ũkũria wa matũra kia NGCDF. Ndung'u augĩte thirikari nĩ ĩrutĩire gũtigĩrĩra nĩ yanyita kana nĩ yarehe kĩhonia gĩa thĩna ũyũ wona mbeca ciaigana kũgaĩrwo kaunti bũrũri-inĩ. Minister wa Kigina Njuguna Ndung'u mbere ya kamiti ya bunge ya gĩbũrũri ĩgiĩ kigina akĩhũngwo mahũri ciĩgiĩ thirikari nĩkĩ ĩtarekereirie kigina kia ũkũria wa matũra kia NGCDF. Minister Ndung'u augite thirikari ni ĩrutanĩirie makiria harĩ gũtigĩrĩra nĩ yarehe kĩhonia kĩa thĩna ũyũ wona mbeca ciaigana kũgaĩrwo kaunti. Oho akiuga kĩgĩna kĩa mũingĩ nĩ gĩkunderete na kwoguo kũrehe hamwe kĩgĩna thirikari nĩ ĩremetwo gũkinyanĩria cioneki ciake.
Kenya has gone into two extremes. There's a severe drought, and now there is El Nino. In both cases, we have reallocated budget, supplementary budget, and recurrent budget, and even development budget to save lives. In both cases. At the same time, because those extremes also create a recession, we are not getting adequate tax revenues. So you can imagine. In fact, if the chairman can tell you, when you devour the development budget, it means that you remove the capacity for even future growth. So
Minister uyu oho augite utongoria wa thirikari ya Kenya Kwanza ni ugumeirwo ni mihinga miingi itari yoneka uguo gucungiriria kuhaguka kwa utonga wa bururi. Oho akiuga ati kuhaguka guku ni gucungiririe bururi kurika mikombo-ini uguo gucungiriria thirikari gwetha uteithio nja wa bururi.
Be sure, we are also sure that the world has mistreated us. For 1 year you can see the extremes, but let's hold on. We are trying to everything, just like you have said, anything that is possible that can be done will be done to make sure that we don't get into that situation. The second one is
gukiri uguo Ndung'u augite niguo gukinyaniria gikiro gia ciringi birioni 10 akiendekithia kurengwo kwa mahuthiro ma thirikari na gicunje muiganira kana kuiga mwihoko kuri indo cia kuma nja wa bururi.
devastating consequences of what we are facing, but the other one was actually the exchange rate movements and international interest structure is actually amplifying our external debt repayments and had increased our debt by 145 billion. That is close to 0.9% of the GDP, and it was threatening to raise our deficit from 4.4 to 5.3, which was unacceptable. In the end, we were only able to accommodate 0.3% to 4.7%, but it means that we have to raise 0.6%, that's about 90 billion, and we can raise that by, one, lower the expenditure by that amount, or look for resources elsewhere. That's why our leaders, His Excellency, is very busy contacting our friends so that we see how we can ride over that.
Maya maroka riri abunge marendekithagiria kugairwo kigina giki kia NGCDF kiria marauga matigairwo kwa mieri 6 mithuru, undu uria uracungiriirie gicanjama bunge-ini ya gibururi kuria abunge maraumururukire nja wa bunge ino makiendekithia kurekererio kwa kigina giki orio.
Tukithina mbere abunge mung'ethaniro umuthi ni matongoretio ni Raila Odinga na mutongoria wa aria anini bunge-ini ya gibururi Opiyo Wandayi ni makomithitie guikio ngono na kurugamio bao-ini kuri murugamiriri wa budget bururi-ini Margaret Nyakang'o. Ari bunge-ini Wandayi augite guikio ngono kwa Nyakang'o gukite riri akoretwo agitabania wira uria ehokeirwo ni gatiba indi thitango iria athitangirwo ya ungumania ni ya kuhithirira maria auburanitie. Mutongoria wa aria aingi bunge-ini ya gibururi Kimani Waicung'wa ni orite mung'ethaniro gweterera itua ria igoti na oho kuria akoria orite atongoria othe gukumithia ungumania. Victor Gathumbi ni atuhaririirie ripoti ino na njira ndikadikiru.
Mutongoria wa aria anini bunge-ini ya gibururi Opiyo Wandayi augite kunyitwo ni maabitha a DCI na kurugamio bao-ini kuri murugamiriri wa budget bururi-ini Margaret Nyakang'o kumanite na ripoti iria arutite ya uria kigina gikoretwo gikihuthirwo makaunti-ini.
I happen to have sat in the National Dialogue Committee, which was co-chaired by none other than the Leader of Majority. Madam Margaret Nyakang'o came before us and made very, very serious allegations on how public funds are being misappropriated by people who are charged with the responsibility of managing public funds. We followed up that issue with the relevant officers, including the CS National Treasury. The only answer we got was that the matter has been referred to the Auditor General. And therefore, the public has got a reason to believe that perhaps the reason why she's being pursued or being hounded out of office is because of her strong stance against misuse of public funds.
Kuri muthenya wa Jumatatu, murugamiriri wa budget Margaret Nyakang'o arutira ripoti mbere ya kamite ya Senate ya kigina na budget ikionania kaunti ya Kisii ihuthirite kigina kia 70% hari urihi wa mishara tu, Kiambu ikirumirira na gicunji kia 64% Kaunti ya Garissa ikirumirira na gicunji kia 61% Kaunti ya Machakos ikirumirira na gicunji kia 60%, Kaunti ya Nyeri ikirumirira na gicunji kia 57%, niyo kaunti ya Tharaka Nithi ikihinga iria kaunti ihuthirite mbeca cia iguru muno hari mishara na kigina na gicunji kia 56%.
Going by the fate of Auditor General Margaret Nyakang'o, we believe political interference will not allow EACC and DCI to deal with this matter, but to put this issue to the agencies as a matter of public record. And the warning must go out there that in another era, all will be held accountable, including these criminals.
Miario ya Wandayi ing'ethanirwo nayo ni mutongoria wa ari aingi bunge-ini ya gibururi Kimani Ichung'wa uria ugite gutire uri iguru ria watho na igoti niryo rigutua cira.
What I do not agree with the leader of minority with is that holders of independent offices There is absolutely nothing in the Constitution that says a holder of an independent office cannot be charged or is above the law. And the matters that Margaret Nyakango has been charged with in courts are out there in the public domain, are issues that came, or she's being accused of, issues that happened at a time she was not the controller of budget, way back in 2016, in some financial institution that she managed or ran. I think those are matters we should leave before the courts, for the court to consider what evidence will be adduced by the DPP and the DPP's witnesses, and whatever defense Margaret Nyakango will mount in court. Because I agree with Honorable Chepkonga, it is one thing to read the Constitution and claim independence of the office, excluding us from reading the Article 6 on integrity. Honorable Speaker, what you are being invited by the leader of my minority to pronounce yourself on is not for you to pronounce yourself on. Because what the leader of minority is now inviting you to is a political duel.
Oho ni oritie atongoria gukorwo muhari-ini wa mbere gukumithia cieko cia ungumania no ti kunyita aungumania baru.
Honorable Speaker, when we say that we shall deal with impunity, and this House, including the leader of minority who is a member of this House, must be seen at the forefront of the fight against graft. And graft, Honorable Speaker, is not only graft when it touches on public funds or on public office.
Mubuge wa Suna ya irathiro Junet Mohamed augete riboti iria irarekereirio ni Margaret Nyakango niyonanitie maria makoretwo makihanikana a Kenya nimekuhota kuigirira kabiro wathani wa thirikari cieri. Ngiribotera mucii wa iheo na taranda GTN TV, ritwa riakwa ni Victor Gathumbi.
Tukithi na mbere, mutongoria wa bururi William Ruto niarikiriirie icera riake ria thiko igiri bururi-ini wa India. Ni icera rikinyanirie wikiraniri wa ngirimiti 5 cia urutithania wa wira gatagati ka mabururi maya meri. O ne thutha wa giikaro na miario gatagati ka mutongoria wa bururi William Ruto hamwe na President wa India niwe Draupadi Murmu na Prime Minister Narendra Modi mwena wa New Delhi bururi-ini wa India. President Ruto augite bururi wa India niwetikirite guteithiriria hari ugi na uhoti wa gwika maundu ari njira-ini ya kuhura njeki bururi wa Kenya kwa kinyani hongi tiganite cia ugima wa mwiri, githomo, ukinyaniria gatagati ka mangi. Hamwe na uguo akiuga Kenya ni ireyonera uthii wa na mbere na wa kiriu niguo technology na uria India ikoretwo igithii na mbere ikiuga nginyagia waki wa nyumba cia raithi, utonga wa nenda, kwagirithia ugima wa mwiri wa mothe ni megukorwo magikinyaniria.
And from the Indian side, Shri Ashwini Vaishnav, Minister of Railways, Communications and Electronics and Information Technology.
I benefited from Prime Minister Modi's example of what he is doing to people at the bottom of the pyramid, using clear interventions on areas of ensuring that those at the bottom of the pyramid have access to health. And I have assured him that we are doing the same in Kenya. We have now community health promoters in every village. We have 100,000 community health promoters across the country. And we are going to learn from India how they have made health affordable, especially for those at the bottom of the economic pyramid. We have also agreed on how we are going to leverage on the MOU that we have signed, especially in the space of technology and public digital infrastructure, so that Kenya can benefit from, especially on e-health, digitizing and using technology in telemedicine and telehealth, as we professionalize and as we digitize our health space in Kenya, we're going to learn from the experience of India so that we don't repeat the unnecessary lessons that have already been learned, and we can piggyback on their success and work together. And I am very happy that we now have an MOU that is going to provide us with a scope for capacity building between our two sectors, especially professionals in Kenya, learning from their counterparts in India.
Thank you, sir.
Na ripoti iyo niyo inaheka mweke kwamba gwikiria o hanini no indi ndugagicejie mitambo thii na mbere na wiroreri GTN TV turacokereria.
Andika mauru tasikiza tuni ya thimu yaku. Hihinya *837*321# na igwatire rwimbo ruru tarugambirwa thimu yaku.
Sharia hado ugithomera gukunya gita, piano kana migambo niyo vocals. Rehoboth School of Music maheyanaga mathomo ma kirathi kia iguru muno. Macerere Nyeri Town haria opposite Naivas Supermarket, kana waranirie nao kuhetukira namba cio cia thimu 0715 031 506. Rehoboth School of Music, cama wa rwimbo.
Kuigwatira rwimbo ruru ndina ihurwa Chris Mwangi, tasikiza tuni ya thimu yaku. Hihinya *837*2459# wigwatira rwimbo ruru tasikiza tuni yaku.
Negatho makiria niwe uthiete na mbere na wiroreri wa GTN TV. Tugithi na mbere atongoria a dini ni mamenereirie thirikari ni undu wa kwaga gutangikira ciĩgiĩ ngarama nene ya muturire, makiuga ni ndeto itigite a Kenya aingĩ na gĩtangĩko kinene. Matongoretio ni ngwatanĩro ya ahunjia ya FEICCK maugite ni makomithitie kwa kahinda riri thirikari iguteithĩrĩria a Kenya gutigirira ngarama na thogora wa indo wacoka na thi. Murithi Wicura ari na ripoti ino.
Atongoria a kidini no mathiete na mbere na gukirira thirikari ya Kenya Kwanza igitongorio ni mutongoria wa bũrũri Ndagĩtarĩ William Ruto ni kiria maugite niwe guthie mugaru na ciraniro iria eranĩire hindi ya kambeni cia githurano kinene kihetuku. Matongoretio ni mwandiki mukaru wa gikundi kia ahunjia gia FEICCK Bishop David Thagana, maugite mugaru na thirikari kugũithia thogora wa muturire ni kwambatiria yambatĩrĩtie undu uria urituhiria Kenya murigo munene, na iguru ria uguo mĩario ya ũiguano iria irathiaga na mbere gatagati ga thirikari na mũng'ethanĩro ndina ciara matunda o mothe ma guteithia Mũkenya wa gĩkĩro gĩa thĩ.
No tuguthio na mbere kumaririkania ati ma campaign na platform ya kanitha na ya ugai no ndu cio no ratuma tuhurwo muno bara nene muno na wega tono mwako mwe githirite na no tuhinguritie maitho no turona na mundu wothe ni arona koguo tutire hindi turetiga kuma hold accountable ni undu woguo na ni uhoro wa ma ni turaigua rimwe tugiconoka muno ria tukurio kiuria kiu kiuria twerithia andu na no turagithikiririo no makiheana itumiria maraheana imwe ni igukiguika ire kuo ne global crisis mathina mari kundu guothe to Kenya ni kuiguika niguo no horo ama ni ati no turi fatara kuria na tunywe na tuthomithie ciana gutakumakania muno mabũrũri mari kumangi mena maundu ma
ihinda-inĩ o rĩu Thagana augĩte nĩ ũndũ wa kĩeha kĩnene mũno kuona mũtongoria wa bũrũri ndagĩtarĩ William Ruto hamwe na mũnini wake Rigathi wa Gachagua mahingĩte maitho rĩrĩa Kenya mathiĩte na mbere na gũkaya o mũthenya.
Na sana tunaona yale walizungumzia ni mazuri ndio na inaangazia bali sana, lakini kusema ukweli kabisa tunaona kama waliongea sana ile inayowahusu kibinafsi, ile inayowahusu kulingana na cheo fulani zile ambazo zimeakilishwa katika milego ya kisiasa. Inaonekana hiyo ndio sana walitumia muda wao kabisa na wakatosheleka na hiyo, mwananchi wa kawaida akaachwa pale.
Hamwe na uguo ni okireire ciiko cia ngukumio iria ithiete na mbere na kwiyumiria ica ikuhi thirikari-ini kuria oretie thirikari gukinyukia makinya mahiu kuria aria marakuruhanio na ciiko ici cia uici na wanangiku wa mbeca cia muingi, na augite uu riri gukoretwo na ngukumio ya uguri wa maguta ya ciringi bilioni 16.5 na irakuruhanio na amwe a maminista thirikari-ini ya Kenya Kwanza.
Twaciri horo wa magoti maria mongererekete na mbeca iria turatuma kiuria kiria kinene muno turorio ni andu tutongoragia ta kanitha na ithu tukeyuria ni ati mbeca icio ni ireteithia bururi witu ni undu wa ngukumio na no turaikara tukiraga atongoria tungikuwa murigo guo turute magoti uguo maricoka mbeca icio ituike ikurira ngukumio-ini tondu tugaikaraga ukaigua hagweto kaundu kaigua hagweto kara kangi no akorwo ari horo wa kiha muno makiria na andu mage kirathimo kia Ngai. Koguo ni turamoria ni turoria kwanja mutongoria wa bururi tondu niwe obeaga the greatest responsibility aikare akiaragiria andu ake muno na kuoya makinya maria haroneka ta hangigia na ngukumio thiini wa utongoria nigetha tutigakue murigo ucio wa kuriha magoti mbeca icio ituike ni cia thie njira ingi.
Na mĩario yake nĩ nyitĩtwo mbaru nĩ aruna ake Peter Wagura oro ũndũ ũmwe na Juma Daisei.
Na nĩ nene muno ũhoro ũrĩa ndĩronire magĩka nĩ kũhũra nyoka mũting'oe no kĩongo gũtirĩ mũndũ wĩna ũhoro nakĩo.
Ngĩribotera GTN TV nĩ njĩtagwo Mũrĩithi wa Icũra.
Tukithina mbere mutongoria wa mutumia wa munini wa mutongoria wa bururi Pastor Dorcas Rigathi eteterete ikinyaria aria mari na mawathe gukorwo magikuhuruhanio mieke-ini ya utongoria hamwe na mawira guko bururi-ini. Akiaria hindi ya gucerera mucii wa ciana wa Mother Teresa Lang'ata County ya Nairobi, Pastor Dorcas nikitiritana kuri aciari aciana na hamwe na arori aciana iria ire na mawathe kwaga kumahithirira kuona aingi ao makoragwo na iheo mwanya.
Ni mucii wa ciana iria ikoragwo na mawathe Lang'ata County ya Nairobi kuria thigũkũ ya andu aria makoragwo na mawathe irathire na mbere. Thigũkũ ino iratongoririo ni mutumia wa munini wa mutongoria wa bururi Pastor Dorcas Rigathi na uria ni patron wa andu aria mari na mawathe guothe bururi-ini.
Appreciate you sister and your entire staff for the commitment you have given to take care of these girls of mine. They look very beautiful today. And they are beaming with joy and excitement because there is someone whose heart has been touched and you are offering the hand of God towards them.
Pastor Dorcas agitetera ikinya ria aria mari na mawathe gukorwo magikuruhanio mieke-ini ya utongoria hamwe na mawira guku bururi-ini. Ona gukiri uguo ni ikitie ritana kuri aciari na arori ciana iria cina mawathe kwaga kumahithirira kuona mari na taranda mwanya.
And it's imperative to acknowledge the existing gaps in our nation's infrastructure that hinder the full inclusion of differently abled individuals. Public buildings and even the toilets and public service vehicles and transportation often lack provision for their convenient mobility and access. As a nation, it's our collective responsibility as public and private sector to work towards inclusive policies and infrastructure that will be able to cater for the needs of those with disabilities, aligning with the commitment of achieving the Sustainable Development Goal, the SDGs, especially goal number 10 and 11. So we have provisions all over the world, and even here in Kenya and other countries in Africa. We need now to go to the level we don't hide our beauty and the variety that God gave us. We expose them so that they can also celebrate with us. Sometimes they look different and they may celebrate differently like they are doing here. But they are human beings. And you can see within themselves, they have a spirit. They have a soul that is joyful. Let them be able to enjoy the environment God created for them.
Imwe ya utugi wabici-inĩ ya mutumia wa munini wa bũrũri arĩ kũrũĩra mwana wa kahĩĩ, atumia na ciana cia ndigwa hamwe na andũ arĩa makoragwo na mawathe. Gĩtugĩ kĩa andũ arĩa marĩ na mawathe, muoroto wao warĩ gũkuruhanio kwao hatarĩ na kũmathutũkania. Na handũ-inĩ ha GTN TV, rĩtwa rĩakwa nĩ Waringa Wangũya.
Second.
Tukirika iharo-inĩ tumurike mbitika cia EPL, irabu iria irathaka umuthi ni hamwe na Manchester United aria megokorwo magĩkũrana njithi na heu na timu ya Chelsea thaa 5:15 utuko wa umuthi. Nayo timu ya Manchester City manyito ugeni ni timu ya Aston Villa utuko wa umuthi. Nayo timu ya Fulham ite ugeni timu ya Nottingham Forest thaa 4:30 utuko wa umuthi. Nayo timu ya Crystal Palace matukurane na timu ya Bournemouth. Gukinyeria hau mwiroreri gutiri ndũngĩtangaja hau niho turekirira gaturumo mutamburuko wa Thaa Ithatu gũkũ kwa GTN TV. Ni ngatho makiria kuri aria othe makinyaniria umemerekia uyu, ngatho makiria ona kuri we werorera haria hothe ungikorwo uri ngagitambura andu eri kana atatu mwena wa Facebook aria makorwo makiaraniria na ithuĩ. Ngona mundu gwitwo Peter Munanu akauga good evening na agaturirikania ati umuthi timu ya Manchester United ni megukorwo magithaka na Chelsea. Kona Kenyan One, Peter Ishura, Jane Wanjohi, Harrison Muna ni ngatho makiria ninywe mwerorera na mwaraniria na ceceni ya GTN TV. Gagikwanithiria hwaini mwega urokoma thayo. Rĩtwa rĩakwa ni Snaida Chege.